Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories. You find yourself settling into a cozy space, ready to let the day's cares slip gently away from your mind and body. You notice the steady rhythm of your breath, each inhale a soft invitation to calm, each exhale a tender release of lingering tension. In this stillness, you prepare to embark on a dreamlike journey, a serene exploration of Alaska's shimmering night sky, where dancing auroras meet the hush of whale song in peaceful harmony. Let the warmth of your breathing and the promise of rest guide you now. Feel the weight of your eyelids and the softness beneath your head. Give yourself permission to put aside any thoughts of to-do lists or daily demands. Here in the gentle hush of night, your body can sink into a sweet state of repose. The air around you feels soothing and supportive. Each moment is another step closer to deep tranquility. Breathe in and sense a gentle wave of relaxation flowing across your shoulders. Breathe out and allow the muscles of your face and jaw to soften. Imagine for a moment that every exhale is a chance to let go of anything that no longer serves you. Envision your mind resting upon a soft, cloud-like surface floating freely in the twilight. Let yourself be at ease, here in this moment, preparing to drift away on a gentle stream of words and images. Now, dear listener, let the calmness wrap around you like a familiar blanket. With your next deep breath, release any last bits of tension still clinging to your neck or arms. Notice how the quiet begins to grow, how each sound in your environment grows more distant and gentle, how the pulse of your own breath becomes the center of your awareness. In the gentle hush that follows, your senses open to the faint echoes of possibility. The story begins to take shape in your imagination. Soon, this evening's tale will unfold, an immersive journey along the pristine shores of Alaska, under the mesmerizing waltz of the northern lights, and amidst the soothing songs of whales calling gently through vast waters. Your mind can receive this story without strain, letting the soft narrative wash over you, guiding you further into the realm of gentle slumber. Take one more long, slow breath, and as you exhale, allow yourself to drift into that peaceful space between waking and sleeping. High above the northern horizon, the Alaskan sky unfurls its cosmic tapestry, painted in luminescent greens and violets. Within this vast wilderness, away from the hum of cities, nature's symphony resonates with a quiet power. Sea ice glimmers in the twilight, and the wind whispers across the rolling ocean swells. Long ago, ancient stories told of spirits dancing in the sky, their footsteps echoing in the hush of the tundra. Tonight, under the watchful sparkle of distant stars, the aura of those legends lingers, weaving harmony into the landscape. In a secluded inlet, near the edge of a rugged shoreline, a small group of cabins stands like guardians of solitude. Their wooden walls glow dimly in the sparse moonlight. Inside one particular cabin, a traveler named Maya quietly closes a journal and sets it aside on a simple wooden table. The gentle crackling of a low burning fire in the hearth punctuates the silence. Her eyes drift to a window where the emerald shimmer of the northern lights gently pulses, beckoning with ethereal allure. For the past few weeks, she's been drawn to these waters, searching not just for glimpses of the aurora, but also for the songs of whales that come here each winter. Maya wraps a thick blanket around her shoulders and steps onto a small porch, feeling the crisp air on her cheeks. The scent of pine lingers in the air, a reminder of the forest behind her, while the distant sound of water meeting the shore forms a quiet lullaby. Overhead, the sky ignites in shifting curtains of green and violet. Soft ribbons twist and curve, illuminating the frosty sky with a mystical glow. Each flaring wave of light seems to move in response to an ancient rhythm, as though the aurora itself is alive with patient wisdom. She stands there for a moment, absorbing the stillness, letting the crisp air fill her lungs, and the hush of the land cradle her weary thoughts. Her breath hangs before her in a faint cloud, then dissipates. Beneath the faint drone of wind, she hears a different sound, a distant rumbling melody that resonates through her core. The waters off the coast have become a stage for the songs of migrating whales. She steps off the porch, carefully navigating a snowy path, following that murmuring call toward the shoreline. Beneath the dancing auroras, she sees the outline of the vast ocean. Dark waves slip gently in and out of sight, crowned with white caps that catch the glimmer of celestial light. The whale song grows more distinct, weaving through the stillness like a ghostly refrain. Once upon the rocky shore, Maya stands on a wide boulder, gazing out at the water's edge. The whale calls reverberate through the night air, low and haunting, as if the ocean itself is singing a lullaby. For a few hushed minutes, she closes her eyes, letting each note blend with the luminous brilliance overhead. Since her arrival, the constant hush of these Alaskan nights has helped Maya reconnect with the quiet spaces within herself. She came here seeking a respite from the demands of daily life, somewhere she could find comfort and clarity in nature's untouched majesty. The local guides had told her that this particular bay is a favored resting place for passing whales, especially when the ice is thinner and food is plentiful. They said the whales had their own traditions, their own nighttime recitals, which they performed under the swirling auroras. Captivated by these stories, Maya knew she had to experience this for herself. As the night deepens, the sky grows richer in color, the auroras intensifying in fluid bursts. Sheets of emerald mingle with deep violet, and gentle flickers of pale pink brush the horizon. In the distance, the snow-capped peaks glow faintly, their slopes veiled in the soft luminescence. The hush around her thickens like a comforting blanket, making every subtle sound, the crunch of snow underfoot, the susurration of a light breeze, seem amplified and profound. Her thoughts drift to the whales, the mysterious keepers of these waters. She remembers stories of how whale songs can travel across great distances, carrying messages through the deep. These songs connect them to their ancestors and to each other, forging an unbroken chain of shared wisdom. Perhaps, she muses, they even communicate with the auroras overhead, forging a cosmic bond between sea and sky. Smiling at the notion, she takes one more breath of frosty air and heads back to her cabin for a mug of warm tea. Inside the cabin, the firelight casts dancing shadows across the walls. She prepares a simple herbal blend in a small kettle, letting the gentle steam soothe her cheeks, still rosy from the cold. The scent of chamomile, mint, and a hint of wild berry wafts upward, and she inhales deeply, feeling her shoulders relax. Sipping slowly, she feels the calming warmth spread through her, drifting with soft waves of comfort. Outside, the whale song continues, quietly filtering through the cabin's wooden walls, a reminder that the ocean never truly sleeps. She stays by the fire for a while, allowing the red embers and the faint hum of whale calls to lull her into an unhurried calm. It's as if the place itself has a heartbeat, one that gently reminds Maya she's connected to a vast realm of life and wonder. When she finally grows sleepy, she nestles into a thick quilt. Images of shimmering auroras and singing whales float through her mind, echoing through the dreamscape that awaits. When morning comes, the daylight is soft and subdued. Snow flurries dance around the cabin, dusting every surface in glints of pure white. Maya wakes feeling refreshed, as though the night's wonders have instilled a quiet energy within her. She makes a simple breakfast of warm oatmeal sweetened with a touch of honey, and listens to the gentle hush of snow falling outside. She is in no rush here. Each day is an invitation to move slowly, to notice the subtle changes in the sky, the sea, and her own spirit. Later, she speaks with a local guide named Elias, who offers to take her on a small boat trip to search for whales along the rugged coastline. Soft-spoken and kind, Elias has lived his entire life in this remote part of Alaska, learning the rhythms of the sea and sky since he was a child. He tells Maya that the whales who visit these waters are often fin whales and humpbacks, occasionally accompanied by smaller orcapods. He describes how their calls can sometimes be heard even through thick ice, traveling miles across the bay. Listening, Maya feels a spark of excitement, imagining the whales gliding under the turquoise waves. They plan a gentle excursion for the early afternoon when the sun, low on the horizon, casts a warm halo across the snowfields. Maya gathers her warmest clothing, layers of sweaters and woolen socks, then steps onto the pier, where Elias waits beside a modest boat. The vessel bobs in the gentle tide, its hull painted a soft teal that matches the color of glacier-fed waters. Clouds drift lazily above, revealing occasional patches of pale blue sky. As they set off, the engine's gentle hum blends with the soft lapping of waves. The boat's bow parts the water, sending ripples of white foam behind them. Maya peers over the edge, captivated by the clarity of the water. The shoreline glides by in a series of jagged rocks and icy outcroppings, all under the watchful presence of towering evergreens. The sea air feels crisp in her lungs, carrying the faint scent of pine and salty spray. She closes her eyes for a moment, leaning into the boat's gentle rhythm, her mind drifting toward the memory of whale songs from the night before. Gradually, Elias navigates toward a spot he knows to be a common feeding ground. He cuts the engine until the boat drifts quietly. A hush settles over them, and Maya can hear the wind ruffle across her hood. The silence is broken only by the distant caw of gulls and the low moan of shifting ice. Then out of the silence comes a deep, resonant sound, a distant exhalation of breath at the water's surface. Maya's eyes open wide. She scans the horizon and sees, just a few hundred yards away, the curved back of a whale breaking the surface. A plume of mist rises as the whale exhales into the chilled air. For a moment, time stands still. She experiences a sense of awe washing over her, as if the heartbeat of the earth has slowed to align with that magnificent creature's presence. Elias points. "Fin whale," he says softly. They watch in shared reverence as the whale arcs through the water, then disappears beneath the surface. A few moments later, another plume rises, followed by a graceful roll of its spine. Maya notices how smoothly the whale moves, how it seems to merge with the water's dark, glimmering expanse. When the whale finally dives, its tail fluke rises in a languid farewell, then slips silently below the surface. They remain there for a while, simply floating, lulled by the hush of the sea, anticipating the next glimpse. And indeed, after a few minutes, the whale reappears closer this time, and Maya can hear the subtle echo of its call reverberating through the hull of the boat. It is not the elaborate, haunting melody of a humpback's song, but rather a deep frequency that resonates like an ancient drum. She feels it more than hears it, a soft vibration that travels through her bones and out into the open air. Soon they spot two more whales at a distance, likely traveling together. A calm excitement settles over the boat, an unspoken recognition of the miracle taking place around them. As the afternoon drifts on, the light begins its slow winter fade. The sky blushes a tender pink, then washes into a pale gold near the horizon. Elias gently steers the boat around a rocky point, explaining that they'll head back before the temperature drops further. They navigate the winding coastline, occasionally slowing to admire eagles perched on snow-laden pines, or to observe seals resting on icy outcroppings. Despite the cold, the environment thrums with life. Each creature, large or small, finds its harmony in this remote ecosystem. Maya is filled with gratitude. She realizes how often life rushes by without pausing to notice such subtle, beautiful moments. By the time they reach the pier, the last light of dusk has faded, and the first stars begin to show through thinning clouds. The reflection of these stars in the still harbor water weaves a dreamy tapestry of sky and sea. Maya thanks Elias warmly, stepping off the boat with a renewed sense of wonder. The whale sightings and the gentle lull of the sea have instilled in her a serene joy. She lingers on the pier, watching as small ripples play across the water's surface, carrying shards of starlight. Even after she returns to her cabin, the memory of that deep whale call reverberates softly within her like a secret pulse, urging her to remain attuned to the quiet marvels of life. Night settles over the inlet once more, and the auroras return with graceful vitality. The temperature drops, and the sky is clear, allowing the shimmering lights free rein to illuminate the darkness. Maya decides to venture out again, following the frozen path down to the shore. Wrapped in multiple layers of clothes, her boots crunch on the snow. Her breath appears as delicate clouds in the glow of moonlight. She walks by the shoreline, guided by the gentle glimmer of the auroras above. Far out on the water, a haunting chorus emerges, whale song carried by the night breeze. She stands still, listening. It seems the whales are calling in unison, their voices rising and falling like a celestial tide. The cadence of their melody is slow, deliberate, as though each note takes shape in the darkness before gently dissolving into the next. High overhead, the auroras ripple, as though dancing in response to the whale's nocturnal hymn. Maya finds a smooth rock near the water's edge and settles onto it, gazing at the luminous performance in the sky. She closes her eyes to focus on the sound of the whales. Soft pulses and resonant tones weave together in an otherworldly symphony. Time stretches, and she loses herself in the interplay of water, light, and song. It is as though the entire landscape, from the frozen shore to the cosmic display, breathes with a single consciousness, an immense presence that hums with gentle energy. The moments drift, and she opens her eyes to see an especially bright curtain of green swoop across the heavens, swirling like a dancer's ribbon. Behind it, arcs of purple emerge, tracing ephemeral patterns across the stars. Her heart warms at the spectacle, and she senses a profound calm infusing every part of her being. In the distance, a whale's call resonates once more, drawing her attention back to the dark waves that slip in and out of view. The synergy between the sky's brilliance and the whale's deep-voiced lullaby creates a feeling of belonging, of being right where she is meant to be. After a while, the chill in the air reminds her to keep moving, yet she feels reluctant to leave. She follows a gentle instinct and walks slowly along the shore. Her footsteps create soft echoes in the packed snow, and beneath them, seaweed-laden rocks peek out. Occasionally, small pieces of ice bump against each other, creating a faint tinkling sound that resonates like delicate chimes. Everything around her exudes a measured tranquility. Further down, she finds a small cove sheltered by a crescent of smooth boulders. The water is calmer here, and the reflection of the aurora is nearly perfect. as if the sky has found its mirror in the sea below. She steps closer, watching the spectral lights shimmer across the surface, intermingling with the faint silhouette of distant whales. The calls grow louder, echoing in the natural amphitheater formed by the rocky shoreline. She rests her hand against a large boulder, feeling its cold surface, and tilts her head up to watch the swirling show above. For a time that feels both eternal and fleeting, Maya becomes part of this moment, her thoughts dissolving into the hush of the scene. The whales continue their subtle chanting, and the aurora's pulses shift from green to shimmering ribbons of white and pink. In that sacred stillness, an unspoken understanding surfaces within her. Nature's cycles persist in quiet collaboration. The whales sing, the lights dance, the earth turns, and in the center of it all there is gentle, unbroken peace. Eventually the northern lights soften, receding into a gentler glow. Maya senses the night reaching its delicate pivot toward dawn. She turns away from the cove, walking slowly back toward the cabin, feeling an almost dreamlike state within her. Her boots lead her along a path illuminated by moonlit snow. The whale songs begin to fade as though the choir has gently concluded its nightly recital. Re-entering the cabin, she removes her snow-caked boots, lays aside her coat, and exhales in deep contentment. Tonight's memory becomes another cherished gem in her growing collection of Alaskan wonders. She curls up near the quiet hearth, pulling a soft blanket around her. Outside, the winds stir a few faint whispers, but the cabin walls hold them at bay. Leaning her head back, she imagines the whales out there in the bay, gliding effortlessly through the water, lulled by the same cosmic hush that envelops her now. She allows her eyelids to grow heavy and gently succumbs to the comforting warmth of rest. Over the following days, Maya settles into a tranquil rhythm. She takes morning walks along the shoreline, sometimes spotting glimpses of whale spouts in the distance. Afternoon, she devotes to reading by the window or writing in her journal. Though she connects occasionally with other travelers or locals, she mostly keeps her interactions brief and serene, preserving the soothing solitude that first drew her here. Each night the auroras appear, ever changing in color and intensity, forging a silent dialogue with the whales below. She observes the interplay between ocean and sky, letting their shared language saturate her heart with quiet delight. One evening she chooses to visit a slightly higher vantage point, a modest hill overlooking the bay. Sunset lingers along the horizon, painting the snow in gentle rose gold hues. She trudges through a narrow trail lined by stubby trees, their branches heavy with snow, until she reaches a small clearing near the top. From this elevation, the bay sprawls out in a grand arc, reflecting the twilight in vast swaths of deepening blues. The mountains to the north rise in silent guardianship, their icy peaks glistening under the first touches of starlight. As darkness envelops the landscape, the auroras bloom anew, revealing themselves in a graceful spiral above the mountains. Even at this height, Maya hears the faint resonance of whale calls traveling across the open water. She settles on a fallen log, insulating herself against the cold with a thick blanket. The wide panorama before her is mesmerizing, the shimmering sky arching overhead, a mirror-like surface of water below, and whales serenading both realms with their melodic presence. She breathes deeply, feeling her pulse slow to match the land's measured cadence. A gentle wind picks up, carrying the sweet crystalline scent of ice and pine. The northern lights begin to intensify in a luminous dance. Long ribbons of green fold inward, swirling with threads of purple, creating patterns that remind Maya of ancient calligraphy written on the sky. Each turn of color seems choreographed, as though the wind itself encourages the auroras to flow from one shape to the next. The whales, in turn, release a series of calls that echo in the still air, forming a gentle counterpart to the visual feast overhead. Time melts away as she sits in quiet wonder. The universe feels tangible here, as if one could reach out and touch these celestial drapes. In her mind's eye, she imagines the whales far below, arching gracefully through the cold water, their hearts beating in tune with some primordial pulse. She imagines them glancing upward, aware of the vibrant lights shimmering across the dark canopy. Perhaps, in their own whale language, they celebrate this nightly wonder as they traverse the seas. At length, the wind grows sharper, and Maya hugs the blanket closer. Stars twinkle in the patches of sky, not consumed by the glowing aurora. Softly, she murmurs a word of thanks to the night, acknowledging the gift it has bestowed upon her. Then she stands, taking one final, lingering look at the radiant display before making her way back down the trail. She moves carefully, guided by the soft glimmer of moonlight and the afterglow of the auroras dancing through the branches overhead. Back at the cabin, the coziness of the fireplace welcomes her. She prepares a cup of warm tea and sits quietly, letting the heat seep into her fingertips. Her thoughts float gently like the soft swirl of steam. She hardly needs words in her journal tonight. The memory of that sweeping sky and the hypnotic whale chorus fills her with a sense of peace that transcends any attempt to capture it. The images, the sounds, and the quiet thrill remain alive within her. An invitation to dream deeper and breathe easier. As the days pass, each evening becomes a gentle exploration of nature's nightly pageantry. The auroras shift in color and shape, sometimes subtle, sometimes grand, but always mesmerizing. The whales continue their offshore serenades, their voices carrying across miles of still winter waters. In the hush of dawn, Maya sometimes glimpses them breaching or spy-hopping near the surface, as if curious about the fleeting silhouettes on shore. She marvels at their grace and ancient wisdom. feeling a profound gratitude for the rare and timeless connection she has been allowed to share. But at last, the final night of her stay arrives, draped in the deep hush that signals a calm, cloudless sky. She steps out onto the porch in the late evening, inhaling the crisp air. Overhead, the first ribbons of the Aurora swirl, tinted a faint green. Gently, she makes her way toward the water's edge, determined to immerse herself one final time in the whale song and the luminous tapestry above. The night is still, each breath of wind almost imperceptible. She settles onto a familiar boulder, placing a folded blanket beneath her to shield against the cold stone. The ocean is serene, its surface nearly motionless, reflecting the sky's newborn radiance. She waits, breath soft, eyes lifted. It doesn't take long for the whales to begin their nocturnal chorus. The calls emerge at intervals, sometimes solitary, sometimes overlapping like voices in a timeless choir. Under the glowing arcs of emerald and violet, she closes her eyes and lets the melody envelop her. Every worry, every thought from her life beyond this place gradually dims, replaced by an abiding sense of wonder. The auroras unfurl in greater brilliance, bold streaks of light sweeping across the sky in a slow, meditative dance. Their reflections on the ocean's surface create an illusion of twin skies, one above, one below, enveloping Maya in an otherworldly dome of color. The whales call as if in response to each gentle shift in the aurora's shape, weaving an intricate lullaby that resonates with the starlit water. In this immersive stillness, she senses an alignment of earth, sea, and sky, as though each facet of nature collaborates to create a single resonant chord. The soft hush between whale calls becomes a place of profound silence, a space where the heart can rest without question or hesitation. Here, in the synergy of swirling light and haunting melodies, she discovers the essence of peaceful surrender, a letting go that feels at once effortless and profound. Time ceases to matter. She is simply present, a witness to something ancient and boundless. An overwhelming sense of gratitude wells within her, so pure it makes her eyes glisten. Eventually, the auroras begin their soft retreat, and the whale calls grow more intermittent, suggesting their nightly performance is nearing an end. She remains a few moments longer, holding the experience close, breathing in the hush of Alaska's enchanted realm. Then she rises and drifts back toward the cabin, her steps deliberate, her mind and spirit imbued with the harmony of the whale's song and the northern lights' spectral dance. Inside, she sits for a while by the soft glow of a lantern. Too content to sleep just yet, she revisits each memory. The first night's shimmering sky, the boat excursion with Elias, the quiet cove where the Aurora reflected so clearly on the water, the hush of the hilltop vantage, and now this final tapestry of light and sound. She senses that these memories will remain with her long after she leaves. The lullaby of whales, the cosmic brushstrokes across the sky, the soft hush of the Arctic wind, all whisper that home can be found in the still, wondrous spaces of the world. Finally, sleep calls gently. She wraps herself in the warmth of a thick quilt. The last thing she hears before drifting off is the faint echo of whale song in her heart, and the afterimage of dancing lights on her eyelids guiding her into a slumber as deep and vast as the ocean itself. Now, dear traveler, you too may rest. Let the lingering echoes of Alaska's Aurora whale song carry you into a dreamscape of flowing color and sound. In this quiet space of near slumber, imagine the slow roll of ocean waves and the low, resonant calls of whales reverberating through your thoughts. Feel how the hushed rhythm of their song softens your breath and eases any final traces of tension in your body. Your eyelids grow heavier with each heartbeat. Notice how your breath becomes shallower and gentler, how your muscles surrender to the weight of relaxation. Let the calm swirl of memory guide you further inward. In your mind's eye, see the ethereal ribbons of the aurora drifting across the sky, each subtle shift in hue, inviting you to let go and drift deeper into the welcoming arms of sleep. Allow yourself these final moments of peace. In the quiet darkness, the magic of Alaska's nights lingers like an unspoken lullaby. Let it lull your thoughts into a serene hush, each inhalation a delicate reminder of the glow above, each exhalation a release into the soft infinity of rest. No matter how far away you are, the whale song and the dancing lights reside within you. A gentle echo you can return to whenever you wish for calm. Feel the softness of your pillow beneath your head, the warmth of your blanket wrapped around you. Let your consciousness drift beyond the confines of the day, free to wander among stars and moonlit seas. The whale's voices fade to a whisper, a final lullaby as the auroras recede into quiet memory. The hush of deep night envelops you. Surrender to its soothing embrace and let your spirit float in peaceful stillness. Good night, dear traveler. Sleep well.